Arsenal travel to the Gtech Community Stadium, dreaming of tightening their grip at the top of the Premier League. But Brentford's physical threat and home momentum could make this one far from being straightforward. Who would come out on top? This is your Brentford versus Arsenal match preview. Welcome to About Arsenal. It's Brentford versus Arsenal, match 26 of the Premier League. Thursday night clash sees Arsenal currently leading the Premier League with just 3 points. Yes, because Man City smashed Fulham off the park. And now that lead has dropped to 3 points. At some point, before Man City played against Liverpool, it was a 9-point lead. Of course, you know what happened at Anfield. Pure madness, pure bedlam. I'll give my match reaction around that. And now that lead has cut to 3 points, which means that there's some level of pressure going into this game. So this Thursday night sees us play against Brentford. We're going to make a short trip to West London to take in the Brentford side that's actually riding on good momentum. This is going to be a very pivotal fixture in the title race and could define momentum for both clubs. Arsenal would want to make sure that they win this game, bearing in mind that we can't bank on any other person to do the job for us. We have to do the job ourselves. And this is actually a very, very strong ground that we have some history in. Thankfully, we have had a couple of victories there. Our last the last time we ever lost at Brentford was when they just joined the Premier League. That was in 21-22. Yeah, they beat us 2-0. 22-23, I think he won 3-0. That was the game where Itamaneri made his debut for the club. I know last season it was 3-1 goals from Jesus, Martinelli, and Merino. If my memory serves me right, I think it was Buemo that scored for them. But as we know, they no longer have Buemo, they no longer have Risa, they don't have Norgard. Their coach Thomas Frank has been sacked. I did a video about it yesterday. You can check it out. Talking about the effect of his sacking vis-a-vis the North London derby that's about to happen. But this is a game that Arsenal is expected to win, and I'm really hoping that we have what it takes to get the job done. So looking at Brentford's form, they are a team in very good form. They are actually the sixth. Let me check the last position in the Premier League. I think they are seventh in the Premier League. Amazing. Prior to last night, they were on the same level of points in Liverpool at 39. Or Liverpool doing well against Sunderland, obviously they have come and moved them. But to think that Frank Edwards' side, sorry, not Frank Edwards, Keith Andrews' side. Whenever I say Frank Edwards, I'm thinking of a musician. Bear in mind that Keith Andrews' side has been doing very well this season. Arsenal has been very careful. They currently have 12 wins, 3 draws, and 10 defeats. And their record at home has been decent. Their last home out in Nordo was surprising. They lost to Nottingham Forest. That's the game they actually expected to win. But in their last 2 games, they visited my Emery's side and got a 1-0 win where Kevin Shada actually had a red card in that game. But for some reason, they still held their nerve. And when they visited St. James Park to play Newcastle, they actually defeated them 3-2. So in their last 5 games, Brentford has won 3, and they're in good form. They have a striker in Thiago, who is the second highest scorer in the league. Although he has bagged a lot of penalties all the way, but still, if someone that's not mindful about. And there's the dangerous Django Utara, who wins a lot of penalties for them, but he was going to actually score the winning goal when Brentford played against Newcastle. So Brentford is the side that Arsenal has some history with. The goalie David Raya has his roots there as well. I'm sure he wanted to do his best to be in good form. But so far, so good. They have been doing well. They have a consistent squad. Thiago has scored 17 goals in the Premier League. Django has scored 5. Then they have Jensen, Henderson, Janelle. Some players that have been very good. And Kalmin Kelleher has done very well since replacing McFlecken. Flecken went to Bayer Leverkusen, and they replaced him with Kelleher, and Kelleher has done very well. I think they actually took a penalty this campaign as well. And has really shown why he's one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. So Arsenal are going to really be mindful of the threat that Brentford can face. And of course, they'll be in front of their home fans to be spurring them on to get a victory. To Arsenal, Statsmen have basically cleared all the dust from the defeat against Man United, and the last 4 games have been amazing. The last 4 games, Arsenal has had 3 clean sheets. A clean sheet against Leeds, where we went to Elland Road and smashed them 4-0. Of course, we also played Chelsea in the Carabao Cup semi-final and booked our place in the final with a win over them, home and away. Then last time we played in the Premier League, it was a home to Sunderland, which was a home fixture after the Man United game, and obviously Gunnar did very well. Gyökeres came from the bench and scored 2 beautiful goals, to keep that tie at bay. So I'm just happy to see that the lads have picked form. But unfortunately, the couple of injuries I'm going to talk about, Arsenal is a team that have been playing very well, in all honesty. And this is a game that would be expected to win. If Arsenal wins this game, they'll go back to 6 points ahead of Man City. This is what you should expect all the way to the end of the campaign. Man City is like a juggernaut. We have that experience locking horns with them for the title challenge. 22-23 was no different. 23-24 was no different as well. Although 24-25, both Arsenal and Man City kind of fought out to allow Liverpool sneak from behind and win the league. But this is a game that Arsenal will have some pressure going into bearing in mind that Man City has won before them, and they have no choice but to go in there, put up a good performance that is worthy of 3 points and bag it. To injury and suspension news, this is going to be the last game of Kevin Schada's 3-match ban. He had a red card for a stump at Matikash when they played against Aston Villa. So he missed the Newcastle game, missed this one. Oh, I think he has one more after this, actually, But they have done well in his absence. 2 wins. Of course, Reece Nelson, our own player, will not be eligible to play against us based on the Premier League rules for players going out on loan. We also have a former Arsenal player, Josh Da Silva, who has been injured for quite a while, and he's not going to come back to play at the end of the month. And the youngster, Carvalho, he did his ACL a couple of months back, and he's out for the rest of the season. As for us now, they're still, hovering over the fitness of Martin Odegaard. Hopefully he has trained, but we need him right now because we are basically light in central midfield. We have Bukayo Saka, who pulled up short in the Leeds game, suffered a muscular injury that has kept him out for quite a while. The projection is for him to play against Tottenham. So he has missed the Leeds game, he missed the Chelsea game, he's certainly missing this game against Brentford, he's going to miss the game against Wigan, potentially could play Wolves, or might be on the bench, and of course, locked on for the North London derby. As for Max Dowman, he's still out injured. That also confirmed that in his press conference that he's still out injured. And we also have Mikel Merino, who has gone for a surgery that was successful. He had a foot injury, unfortunately, and the projection right now is for him to come back toward the end of the campaign, maybe sometime in May or late April. He's actually a clutch player for us, but unfortunately, we're not going to see him for quite a while. Thankfully, the surgery was successful, so that's a good thing. And we also had Trossard, who pulled up short in the game against Sunderland, hit the deck, was substituted, and I think it's a cramp or a strain. Hopefully, he'll be able to play the game. I think he's going to have a fitness test. But sadly, we have a new injury, Kai Havertz, a muscular injury, after playing so well in recent games, he's out again. According to David Onsen of The Athletic, he's going to miss this Tottenham game. He's also going to miss the Wolves game. He might miss the Wigan game as well. It's so sad to see Kai Havertz suffer this injury. But it's what it is. We just have to make do without him. Obviously, he's been out for a very long time this season, and these injuries are expected to come. So you just got to hope that we'll have enough depth to manage his absence. Looking at the latest results of both sides, the last 5 games, Brentford won the FA Cup clash against Sheffield Wednesday, and that has booked them for a 4th-round clash against Macclesfield. Good stuff for them, man. And they lost against Chelsea in Stamford Bridge. That was a very interesting game because they actually battered Chelsea. Sanchez was basically the man of the match for that game, despite being at home. And they were the shock defeat to Nottingham Forest, And of course, the last 2 wins that basically boosted their confidence, games against Aston Villa and Newcastle. These are 2 grounds that are very, very hard to play, but they've gone there and they've earned some good victories. As for Arsenal, last 5 games, of course, the horror show at Manchester United, where we scored first. Mendy actually gave them the ball to make it 1-1. Then double scored, Merino scored an equalizer, but unfortunately Matheus Cunha scored the winning goal. After that, we played Kairat Almaty, our dead rubber Champions League game. Had a couple of overhaul of the players, but the people that came in their stead did very well and got what was expected of them, which was the victory. Following the Kairat game, Arsenal played against Leeds. Martin Zubimendi scored the first goal in that game. Emmanuel Madueke crossed the corner kick that was initially given as an own goal, but it was later confirmed by the accreditation panel that the goal belonged to Madueke. And there was a goal for Victor Gyökeres and, of course, Gabriel Jesus. And when we played against Chelsea, Kai Havertz, was the one that scored a very late goal against them to give us the final victory that took us to Wembley. We had beaten them 3-2 in their home ground, and we won them 1-0. And of course, the last game Arsenal played, Mendy scored the first goal for us. Lovely goal outside the box. The way he just, oh my God, showed great technique to score that goal. And Victor Gyökeres came from the bench and scored a brace. Looking at the predicted lineups for Brentford, I'd expect Kelleher in goal. Michael Kayode, the dangerous set-piece thrower, would be the one that would be in the right back position. Rico Henry working his way back to full fitness on the left. Then we have Seb van der Berg and Christopher Ayer. Their captain Nathan Collins is still struggling with injury. I think he had a couple of stitches or so. So I don't know whether he'll be fit enough to start the game. In midfield, you have the experienced Jordan Henderson, and you play alongside Vitaly Janelt. Then, of course, Matthias Jensen will be in central attacking midfield, while Lewis Potter and Django Ouattara will be on the flanks with Thiago. You got Thiago in center forward position. For us now, you have Gavi Raya in goal. I think Alafiori is still building his way to full fitness, so Hincapie might probably be preferred as left back. Ben White, I think might be Timber that will probably start. I think it's an error on my own part. It should be Timber that will start at right back with Saliba and Gabriel in the middle. With expect Rice and Mendy to play in central midfield with Eberechi Eze as the 10. With no Odegaard, no Havertz, we have no choice but to put Eze in that position. Madueke will continue from the right-hand side, and hopefully Trossard is fit enough, he will play on the left. But if he's not fit enough, I'm sure Martinelli will be there. In the attack, we'll have Victor Gyökeres leading the line. January has been a very good month for him. He has gone started February well as well. In the turn of the new year, he has scored 6 goals in his last 8 games. He's also had 3 assists in that time as well. So it's good to see him, get his flowers. For key tactical battles, I would expect, you got Thiago to have a torrid time against our central defensive pairing. He's a very good physical striker, but Gabriel and Saliba should have enough in the tank to ensure that, he doesn't get any chances. Noni Madueke will be very important, taking on the likes of Rico Henry. Madueke would, I really, really hope that he can basically bring some more output. He takes on very well, but it's always that final thought that seems to lack with him. I'm hoping that he'll be able to do that, And of course, on the left flank, Trossard will do well against the likes of Kayode. Arsenal also has to be very careful with throwing threat that Kayode poses. I think Brentford has scored like 11 goals from throw-ins or some crazy stat like that. So we have to be very mindful of that and all that. So my match predictions is going to be a 2-0 win for Arsenal. I think this is going to be a game that we would not find easy to play, but we should have enough in the tank to get a victory. Yeah, so basically, that's my thoughts on the game, my match preview. I think we are going to do well tonight. It's a game that's up by 9 p.m. Let's all get there, get ready to watch it. I might not do a watch along, but certainly I'll do a match reaction stream, probably like around 11:15, 11:30, depending on how, I get my slides ready enough after the game is played. So, of course, thanks again to everyone for being part of this journey. We're still on the road to 4K. Or to 5K actually, because we are very close to 4K, 3968 or thereabout. But don't forget to like and subscribe. Give me your thoughts on who your starting exercise is going to be. Until then, come on, you Gunners.